Alright, hello everyone. So, I am back here on HackerRank, and it's essentially my second time doing HackerRank. And the reason that I want to come here and do some problems on this website as opposed to LeetCode is I'm saying that HackerRank, the way that they ask questions is a little bit different than the way that LeetCode asks questions. So I'm trying to be able to see how they ask questions, get comfortable with their way of doing things, and just be able to get more familiarity. So I'm just gonna start and keep going, and yeah, I guess. Okay, so what's happening here? Change to Python, wherever. Okay. Alright, here we go. So, complete this function. Solve me first to compute the sum of two integers. Okay. Example, we have a and b returns 10. Okay. Function description, complete the solve me first function with the parameters a and b, returns an int. Okay. Should be able to submit code and see what we get. Okay, so it says success. Now can we go to next challenge right here? Okay, cool. Alright, so this one here. Given an array of integers, okay, given an array of integers, find the sum of its elements. For example, if the array is this, okay, so, alright, sum is equal to 0 for I in range, length array, sum plus equals array of I return sum summation. Okay. Alright, so output is 30, so return int, yeah, okay. Okay, and where's our little button for next? Okay. Alright, Bob and Alice each created one problem for HackerRank. A reviewer rates the two challenges, awarding points on a scale from 1 to 100. For three categories, problem clarity, originality, and difficulty. The rating for Alice's challenge is the triplet. Okay, and the rating for Bob's challenge is the triplet of B, okay? The task is to calculate their comparison point by comparing each category. So so the task is to calculate their comparison points by comparing each category, okay? So if Alice gets more points than Bob, Alice is awarded 1 point. If Bob is awarded more for that particular index, then he's given a point. Okay. Alright. Now for elements 0, Bob is awarded a point. Yeah. Okay. If they're equal, no one is given a point. Finally, for elements 2, yeah. Complete the function compare triplets with the following parameters. Is there like a dark mode on this though? I don't see a dark mode. Okay. Change theme. Okay, well I was hoping it would change everything, but that's fine. Okay, never mind. Complete the function, compare triplets with the following parameters. okay, returns int2, the first element, hold on. Complete the function compare triplets with the following parameters. Int, which is of size 3, Alice's challenge rating, and then int of 3, Bob's challenge rating. So just giving us the inputs, and it returns a integer array of size 2. Is that what it's asking for? The first element is Alice's score, and the second is Bob's score. Okay, yeah, so that is what it's actually asking for. Input, the first line contains 3 space separated integers. Oh wait, hold on. The first line, so we're going to take the input and split it here, okay? The respective values in triplets A, okay? The second line contains 3 space separated integers. So I think it's just talking about the input here, like this input, not the input that is given in A and B as the function. Okay, so Bob's score equals 0, Alice score is equal to 0 for I in range 3, right? If A indexed at I is greater than B indexed at I, Alice score plus equals 1, elif, same thing, this way, then we give Bob a point. Okay, Bob score plus equals 1, otherwise their score remains the same. So then at here, return, and then we want a list where the first element is Alice's score, Alice score, second element is Bob's score. Okay, let's see if it likes it. What's going on with that? There we go. Okay. Next challenge. Understood. Thank you. Complete a very big sum function with the following parameters. Okay, so int array returns long the sum of array elements. The first line of the input consists of an integer n. Okay. The next line contains n space separated integers containing an array. So when it's talking about input, is it talking about this input or this input? Int array. Okay, so the input to the very big sum problem is these. Okay, okay, fine. Return the integer sum of the elements in the array. Okay. So what I'm seeing is here, so we have these, and we want to sum like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's kind of like element wise. The sum of elements in the array. Okay. So, is there a clever bitwise? Because the way that I would think about this is doing kind of a remainder or modulo. But I would have to do it. I mean, honestly, the size is like 5, so it's shouldn't be terrible. But I'm wondering, is there like a smarter way of doing it? I mean, I'm just gonna try it the way that I'm thinking. So like for number in array, okay, like this, and then I do for what would I want to do, like maybe like while temp num is okay. So now I need to actually create that temp num. Temp num is equal to number, like that. Okay. So now I say I want to kick off. Oh, but I want to kick off the actual last element, right? So I need sum array is equal to, and we said that there was 5 elements in there. Again, this is a horrible way of doing things, but I can have temp sum is equal to 0. No, because then I will need to actually know the location which I'm storing it at, right? Okay. So not temp sum. So I want to go through this number. Value is equal to temp num modulo divider. Divider is equal to So I'm trying to isolate this one. What is 1 modulo 10? Or what is this big number modulo 10, right? It's just going to be that 1, which is what I want. So mod divider, right? And then I want to divide temp num equals temp num divided by divider, okay? And then I want divider multiply equal 10, like that, okay? And then I want to say sum array indexed at, and this will have to have some connection to the divider, is and then plus equals value, something like this, okay? But now I want it indexed at divide. I want it because I can't just do like divided by this. I is equal to 0. I, and then I plus equals 1. Something like this, right? And summary. I'm not sure if that's right. Don't know. No, okay. So this should stop. Wait, how many are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there's 10 here. Okay. Well, interesting. Okay, fine. We'll give up and come here. Tell me which concepts I don't understand and how I can improve. Okay. This is a classic over-engineering based on a concept from other languages, but it doesn't apply to Python. Here's the concepts you might be missing to fix your logic. Python's infinite integers. So yeah, well, okay. Arbitrary precision. This means Python integers will automatically grow. Okay, yeah. You don't need some array, you just need a single variable. The logic of this, you're manually... Digit extraction logic has a few technical flaws. Integer division, float division. So, modulo math. Usually to get digits, you use modulo 10 by multiplying. Okay, but that's not really what the question is asking, right? The question is asking we sum them up element-wise, isn't it? 1, 4. Oh, we're not summing them up. No, we're just asking for the actual... We're just asking for the actual number. Yeah, it would just be the summation. Okay, but the more interesting question is how would I do the actual how would I do it element wise? That's okay. Yeah. If you're practicing a problem where numbers are given as strings because they're too big, even for memory, you would use the carry method. Your current code adds digits to some array, but if... okay, yeah. I want to see the Python for practicing the carry long addition. Okay. So we usually represent... Okay. So add two large numbers manually. Start from the rightmost digit. Let's just look at the code and see how it does it. Okay, so we get the length, yeah. The result is an array, okay. So we're going to be starting from the back, right? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because these are arrays, we can do that. And then digit 1 plus digit 2, okay. And then we have the carry here. Okay, and then we append it and with carry and the mover pointers. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So why are they even asking this question, though? That's another thing, like... Okay, but... Great. Why are they asking this question? There has to be something. Ah, whatever, I don't know. I don't care. Whatever, we'll figure it out. We'll just keep on going. That's great. Yes, got it. Okay, so given a square matrix, calculate the absolute difference between the sums of its diagonal. For example, the square matrix array is shown here. We're going to calculate 159 and 359 right here, and then the absolute difference between the two. Okay, so we're given a 2D array, and we want the absolute difference. Okay, fine. So what I want to do is I want to declare a variable called I is equal to 0, and I know that we are going to have a square. Do we know that we're going to have a square matrix? So it says m or n by n, so that makes me think that no, because they're not the same. But in that case, we would come down here, right? Like, if we stopped here but had another column this way, would the diagonal start there, come down this way? Square, which square does mean m and n are going to equal each other. Okay. So, while I is less than the length of array, okay, D1 is equal to, so I'm going to have D1 is equal to 0, D2 is equal to 0, okay. And now I want to say D1 plus equals array indexed at I, okay. No, because I'm going to be going down. So it's a two-dimensional array. So for the 0th element, I want the 0th one, right? So I, this. Now D2 is going to be plus equals array, but now we want it from the back, so it's going to be what, like length? I'm just going to capture that in a variable. So len array is equal to length of array, like this. So I want to say length array minus I, but this one is actually going to be incorrect because we're right here, so we actually want to start right there, right? So minus 1 here. Okay. So then once we get out of this, we will return absolute value of D1 minus D2, kind of like this. Oh, plus equals 1. I plus equals 1. Okay, hold on. Into a list. Yeah, that's because I forgot to copy this exact same thing right there. Wrong answer is 0. So 11, 5, 12 here, okay. So, okay. As I increases, this will go down, and we should get this one, right? Oh, but then this one is going to actually be I. Because we want the... So, hold on. The first one is... So, this one is going to be 0, 0, which makes sense, yeah. But now we want row 0. Yeah, we want row 0 and then column this one. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Given an array of integers, calculate the ratio of its elements that are positive and negative and 0. Print the decimal value of each fraction on a new line, okay, with 6 places after the decimal. Okay. This challenge introduces precision problems. The test cases are scaled to 6 decimal places, though answers with absolute error. Okay, what? Okay. So an array of here, and we want to print the ratio of positive, negative, and 0 numbers in an array. Each value should be printed on a separate line with 6, not return a value. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to say my array is equal to, and then 0, 0, 0. And we're going to say that this corresponds to positive, negative, and 0. Okay. So now, for I in range for I in array, okay, if I is greater than 0, my array indexed at the positive one at 0 plus equals 1. If I is less than 0, same thing but for the negative one. Negative element. Okay. Else here of the third element. Okay. So now for blank in range 3. Print formatted. No, it will just be my array, but I do need that index I. Okay, fine. And then what is the floating point precision in Python? I have no idea. I have no idea. That's something that doesn't really matter. How to determine. I'll just ask it. Not this one. This one. Okay. It wants me to print with a floating point precision of 5. Although we do need to change like the relative, we can't just do this, we need to do like this divided by, and then it will be 3, kind of like that, but and then we need to take this number, and this is what we need to have the floating point precision, kind of like this, and then however we do that. Okay, whatever, just, here it is. So I have to do formatted, okay. Is it like this or something? I forgot. Because this should be 0, 1, 2, right? Which is in the bounds of our array. And then what's the colon doing? .6f. Try it. .6f. Is that actually what they're asking for? Is was 6? How? Where does it say how many floating point they want? It was 6? Okay, let's just try it. Would it? Oh, because I'm. Yeah, obviously. What's it complaining about? So my output is let's see. So I'm collecting the totals, right? Oh, and right, because we can have in num yeah. Let's see if this is happy. Okay. Okay. This is a staircase of size 4. Okay. Its base and height are both equal to n. Okay. Using the hashtag symbol, the last line is not preceded by any spaces. Write a program that prints this. Okay. Should be returned. So, in for I in range in like this, and then we need another for loop for j in range in, so we need to do it again. If was it I is greater than or equal to j, print just like string, like well, I'm not used to doing kind of these weird things like string manipulations, especially in Python. Okay, so like, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to say like a string. What would, I don't know, my string dot, can I do append? I don't know. This? Or is it, well, I need to declare it first, but plus equals this maybe. So I'm going to create my string is equal to this thing, okay? Then if my I, so my I is my row, and if my row is less than the column, no. So I want it to be the opposite way around. So this one is going to be, I wish I had more of this. Come on, brain power, go. So I want to start at like, I want to say if I'm at the end. So that's going to be so this is not correct. Okay. I want to say if my, I'm going to change these to a more descriptive row, okay, column, okay. If my column is greater than or equal to the n minus row, then we do a hashtag. I need to think about this for a little bit more. Elif, okay, just else. My string plus equals this, okay, and then print my string, and then it gets reset up there. Okay, so now let's my computer, whenever I use my desktop, it just makes my entire room just like burning up, even though it's like almost freezing outside. Okay, so my n is going to be how many elements, right? So this is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. N is 4. Yeah. Okay. So n is element wise. So I actually want the n minus 1, which this is correct because it is range. The end is non-inclusive. But for this one, I want n minus 1 right there, minus row. And so on the first one, row is going to be 0, and n is going to be 4 subtracted by 1, so 3. Okay. So if column, if we're in the third column, 0 indexed, and it's equal, then we print this. Otherwise, we do this. And now for this one, we're in row 0, 1, 2, 3, row 3, okay? So column is going to be equal to 0. Column is going to be equal to 0, okay? And row, so this evaluates to 0, and then we have n, which is 4, 3, minus 3. So 0 equals 0, print that, okay. Okay. Alright, there we go. Where is my, here it is. I kind of want to get something to drink. Given 5 positive integers, find the minimum and maximum values that can be calculated by summing exactly 4 of the 5 integers. Print the respective minimum and maximum numbers as a single line of 2 spaced long integers. Okay. So we have an array. Awesome. Given 5 positive integers. Okay, there's our 5 positive integers. An array of size 5. Find the minimum and maximum values that can be calculated by summing exactly 4 of the 5 integers. Okay. My sum is equal to 0. Largest is equal to 0. Smallest is equal to max int. I don't. There is no max int. It's equal to something. It's whatever. Okay, so for number in array. Oh, and this could actually be negative, right? So you could. I think I can do, right? I think I should be able to do this. So if largest is smaller than array index the number, largest equals number. Okay. If smallest is smaller than is larger than number, then smallest is equal to number. Okay. So we just do that. And then I want to say for here, my sum plus equals number. Okay. So now I want to return back what? Prints 2. Okay. And they have to be on the same line. Sample output. So it does look like they have to be on the same line. Okay, whatever. Print f like this. Why are you angry? I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure that out later. So the first one is going to be what? The smallest? Smaller number. Okay, so that's going to be my sum. And then if I want the smallest, I'm going to subtract the largest, right? And then a space, and then here, my sum minus, and if I want the biggest, I want to subtract the smallest element in there. Okay? Something like that. Going on. Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay. You're in charge of the cake for a child's birthday. It will have 1 candle for each year of the total age. They will only be able to blow out the tallest of the candles. Wait, what? Why? What do you mean? They will only be able to blow out the tallest of the candles. Your task is to count how many candles are tallest. Are tallest? There can only be one tallest. Oh, they're equal to... Okay, fine. Okay. So... Well, I can think of like a brute force method of doing it, which would be max num is equal to, and then candles indexed at 0, and then I can go just... Oh, max. Hold on, I confused myself. Num, there we go. And then for num in candles, right? I say if num is larger than max num, then what I could do is max num is equal to num and num. Come on. Okay. So now what I can do is for I in range length candles like this, if candles of I is equal to max num, then total plus equals 1. Okay. Total is equal to 0 here. Okay. Total. Do we return it or what? Returns it. Okay. Return total. Okay. The other thing that I could think of is like, if we wanted to, we could do just like a hash table, right? And I would count the occurrence of each element in the array, and then keep a running total. Like, I would do the same thing where I find the max, but then just within this loop, I could add another thing about appending a value to the, or for my hash table, each number, I would just put that in as how many it has. As the key is the number, the value is like how many times it occurred. And then I find the max number, that's the key, I return the value. So that would cut down on time complexity, because right now this is O of 2n, and so that way would be O of n, but there's no difference between O of n and O of 2n, so it's fine. And the method that I said is has a larger space complexity, whereas this is O of 1 space complexity. Yeah, so I'm not declaring anything. Yep. Okay, do we pass it? Okay, cool. Alright, pretty soon I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm kind of... I might do that right now, actually. Okay, yeah, so I wanted to go through these HackerRank problems. I'm going to keep going through them. I'm going to keep moving through for multiple reasons. The first one is I want to increase my, number one, reading comprehension, because normally when I'm doing leak code questions, I'm selecting a particular category, and so I already know what algorithm I'm going to be using. I want to do some that... Okay, actually, those are two things. Reading comprehension is... HackerRank asks questions very different than how LeetCode asks questions. So I want to be able to understand, okay, in practice, seeing the questions in a different way. Okay, that's number one. Number two is I want to be able to practice mapping the algorithm to the problem when I don't know what the algorithm I'm actually going to use, because on LeetCode I always select the actual problem or category. And then the third one is the type of questions are a little bit different on HackerRank than on LeetCode, so I'm going to be introduced to concepts that I haven't interacted with yet. And so then it gives me an opportunity to learn and be exposed to things that I might not have been exposed to going through just on LeetCode or NeetCode with an N, right? This one right there, NeetCode. So yeah, I'm going to be continuing to go through on HackerRank, and we're going to be trying to find those things. But yeah, so if that's interesting, subscribe. I would love to have you around, and we will just continue on going. So yeah, my name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I'll see you in the next video. All right.